Hi, seniors. How we doing? Going to give you a couple days worth of work, Monday and Tuesday work for you distance learners. Hope everybody's doing well. If you have any questions about format or if something's not working for you, let me know. I can always kind of do what works best for you. So, hope you guys are doing well. I'm about to email this to you, but essentially, day one. Which is Monday. You've got a Great Lines post. If you don't know what it is, I'll explain. You have some ing phrase postings. I'm going to explain that too. And then you're going to do some editing of your definition. And I'll show you how you do that. And then you're going to turn in your final draft of the definition. Okay, so that's day one. Day two, I will explain in a little bit. First off, you did the Great Lines already if you've been clipping along in class. But you come in here, I'm putting them all in there. I hope that it's getting to be kind of a longer post, but the two actually you have to do for this week, or at least Monday, Tuesday, are the one that says the duck, quack. The dusk slipped back towards darkness, and the wind cried and whimpered over the fallen corn. Kind of a pretty little sentence by John Steinbeck. But here it's just a subject, verb, prepositional phrase, and then conjunction, and then you got you got an example of personification where you give an inanimate object human characteristics, as you're probably well aware. The desk slipped back towards darkness, and the wind cried and whimpered over the fallen corn. Okay, so write a sentence that kind of echoes that. Let's look at the empty water bottle gulped up the water, entering itself, shouting and yelping out with joy. The dog ran towards the mailman, and the wind struggled to hold him back. The rain enveloped the clear sky, and the light faded from the cloudy sky. All right, so that's good. And as long as I'm here, you have one on Monday, one on Tuesday. You could do them both on the same day. But I discuss kind of this sentence structure in the lesson. So, but the second one is his breath heaving with agonized breathing. Proctor now lays the paper down and sighs. Right. Remember the crucible? Remember that? Hanging some witches. Here's what: their bodies shaking with aching anticipation. They put their arms around each other and breathe. Her mind focused on the task at hand, she blocks out all distractions, and concentrates. His teeth chattering with chilly wind, he went inside to warm. All right, so those are the two posts that you need to make on this. Now, we day one this week, we're talking about some phrases that I'm going to call them something. I'm going to call them ing phrases. Those of you that have had English, we call them participle phrases, but we're going to talk about kind of their use. Now, we can write in a sentence, Billy was waiting patiently for the show to start. Okay. So I can use ing words. If I use it with a helping verb, then I'm just using it as a verb. It is just a verb. But ing phrases start with just the ing phrase. So we can also take this, waiting patiently for the show to start, without the helping verb, and we can use waiting patiently for the show to start a sentence. We can end a sentence with it. It's a great way to add extra action. Aing, it's something's going on. So I could say, waiting patiently for the show to start. Billy um, sat in the front row. That's a really dumb sentence. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're starting with this ing phrase, right? Where we just kind of stole without the helping verb, right? Waiting patiently for the show to start. Billy sat in the front row. Oops. Okay. Or and they're pretty versatile as long as you. Um, I could say Billy sat in the front row waiting for the show to start. Okay. So here, the ing phrase comes at the end, and we're actually using that. If you know what an adjective is, this is describing something, right? Waiting patiently is describing Billy. Same thing here. It's describing Billy. Okay. So if I have something like this, the squirrel darted across the field, right? I could say, I could put an ing phrase in here. I could say, um, um, what's he doing? Chattering feverishly. What does that even mean? The squirrel darted across the field. Chattering? His teeth chattering. I was trying to get his teeth chattering. All right. He's chattering. He's talking to the squirrel next to him. Oh boy. Okay. Right. Or I could say the squirrel darted across the field. Um, field uh, glowing in a golden haze. Ooh, that's weird. So now glowing with a in a golden haze describes field. Chattering feverishly describes a squirrel. So these ing phrases, we call them participle phrases. I'm just going to put participle. Participial phrase. That are really nice to put into sentences, right? Plus, we talked about this other one in class called an absolute phrase, and it actually has a participle in it. It's got a noun. I'll take the bold off. It's got a noun plus participle. Noun plus an ing phrase. So if I said I'll go back to his teeth chattering. Teeth chattering. The squirrel climbed tree. Holy type. Right. His teeth chattering. So here we're not just saying chattering feverishly, the squirrel. I don't start with the ing, I start with the noun. His teeth chattering, the squirrel climbed the tree, right? I looked, let's see, I walked out the front door. The traffic, there's my noun, speeding by in unison. I don't know what that means. All right. So, and I'm not saying his teeth were chattering. I'm not saying the traffic was speeding. This is a phrase that almost sounds like I'm doing a run on, but I'm not, right? His teeth chattering. My mind focused. His earlobes dangling. His nose running. That squirrel climbed the tree. I walked out the door. The traffic speeding by in unison. The couple sitting on the curb. The ceiling above him dripping with water. I hope that's not happening. So that's what an absolute phrase is. Okay. Now, as kind of a check on this, you are doing another post. I'm kind of post happy this week. And you will go to, oh my gosh, where am I? You'll go to the, come on, you'll go to the definition paper folder. And there you go. There is a, just kidding, it's not in that folder. My gosh, people. It's in the action description folder because that's where I put it. So here, ing phrases post in class groups 1 and 2. And then obviously distance learners, you're doing this at home. So what you're doing is posting 4 different sentences, right? You're starting a sentence with an ing phrase, like we did. You're ending a sentence with an ing phrase. A sentence that starts with an absolute phrase, a noun plus an ing phrase. A sentence that ends with an absolute phrase. So I just want to kind of see if you've got this. Let's look at reading the acceptance letter. She started to cry. There's an ing phrase that starts. As the cop pulled her over, she knew that she was going home crying. Right? Going home crying. Now, here's the absolute. His hands shaking as he dropped the phone. That is a nice absolute phrase. The bright white baseball zooming across the strike zone. We need a little bit more on verb there, but waking up late, I hurried to get dressed. Okay. Let's see if anyone else gets in. The train's rocking. The train's rocking. The passengers went to sleep. Some of these are a little off, but that's okay. But here's one. Her teeth chattering. Sally warms up her car. Right. If you have problems with these, you can email me. But I just want to kind of see if you're getting them. So you're putting 4 sentences into one post. All right. So that you will do as soon as you can. Now, back in the definition folder, there is a definition editing sheet. What I'd like you to do is, in class we partnered up, but for right now, I would like you to fill this out on your own definition. You should have a draft of your definition. Remember my toddler definition from last week? You were to write you would to define something of your own. Now, so take your draft, and I just want you to either print this out or make a copy of it, and fill it out. Okay, and you can look, and you can do this on your own, or if you check the people in distance learning, you can email them and say, "Hey, let's trade papers." That would be awesome. I just didn't partner you up at all. So it's just fill out the questions, and then after you're done filling out this this worksheet, which essentially is just seeing if you put it in logical chunks, paragraphs, if you had specific nouns or verbs, if you used sensory imagery, and just look through your paper and make sure you have it, because that's what I'm going to be looking for as I read it. Okay, and then you would obviously upload your definition right here. So you would upload. Let's see. I've got a few that are in already. So that is the Monday assignment. If you want to kind of stop the video, and kind of work on that, that's kind of what I would do. But then I'm going to kind of go on to tell you what your Tuesday work is. Okay. So go do that right now. So seriously, go do the Monday work. Okay, so Tuesday, you're going to do that Great Lines post. I showed you 2 of them, so you probably can do them both the same way. Whatever. And then the next thing is showing paragraph post. Now, one of the adages in creative writing or descriptive writing is the idea of showing and not telling. Um, just like when you were young kids and you had show and tell, it was boring when someone just came and told you about their trip. It was more fun if they brought you something that they bought on the trip, right? That's the fun stuff, and it goes the same with um, um, writing, right? We want to be shown, right? And I do this quick little illustration. The student was bored. All right. So what I've done is told you. I haven't done a very good job of showing you because I haven't given you any details. So how am I going to tell you that he's bored? Well, think about all the ways that you could describe that a kid was bored, and that's what you're looking for. Um, so instead of a one sentence telling, I come up with this much better paragraph of showing. Billy sat in the back row of his fourth hour geometry class, barely able to hold his head up. He yawned sleepily as he scratched the back of his head, glancing at the clock. He wondered if Mr. Morgan, not Mr. Laird, ever considered writing children's lullabies. He'd make a fortune. This is torture, he thought, shifting in the uncomfortable wooden desk. The weak rays of light, trying to peer through the grayness of the room, did nothing to help the feeling that he might never be set free from this prison of boredom. Okay, so what I've done is I have shown instead of told. Does that make sense? So your next post, remember I said I was post happy this week, is in the action description folder. I know, it's a weird place. It says showing post, right? And I give you a showing sentence, okay? And then people have already responded. Group one's already responded. And you are going to write a paragraph that shows that it was not very nice outside, okay? You can look at some of these. As an example, the clouds were very gloomy looking, the color gray. Same with the temperature, very chilly. It feels inhabitable. The snow doesn't help either. Blinds our view. Okay, so we're giving details, right? And you should aim for a paragraph, a good, 3-4 sentences at least, that are going to show that it's not very nice outside, not just tell me. Okay, so that is your next quick thing to do. Then next week we're going to be doing a longer creative piece, a personal narrative, where you're going to be retelling a story from your life somewhere. It could be a childhood narrative or maybe something that happened this weekend. But you are going to, one of the requirements is to use dialogue, okay? And we're going to do a little assignment today that practices using dialogue. So here goes. But we're first going to review some of the dialogue rules. I clicked on the wrong. Sorry. I know this video's long, but it's 2 days worth. And you broke it up into 2, right? Good. Now, here are the dialogue rules. There's a link right here. And here it comes. Oh, for crying out loud. It's the other one. No, it's not. No, that's not what it is. Boy, is this awkward. Oh, let's see. All right, that was awkward. Oh my gosh, 19 minutes so far. All right, here are the dialogue rules that you need to do the assignment. You're gonna only use quotation marks with direct quotes. That sounds pretty basic, but saying I said that I was hungry, obviously you don't need quotes because that's not the exact words of the speaker. I said, comma, I am hungry, right? That needs quotation marks, okay? All right, so separate dialogue tags like the he says, the she says, from quotations with a comma, an exclamation point, or a question mark. And I go over this because it's never a period unless it's at the end of the sentence, all right? So here we say, I love worms, Billy said. This is not a period, it's a comma, okay? If it was Billy said, I love worms, then it would be a period. But even though it's the end of the sentence um, in the dialogue, there is no period there, okay? Or here, you look great! Exclamation point. No comma, just the exclamation point. What? Phil asked. Just the question mark, okay? But don't do this. I can't see, period, Bill said. This is wrong, needs a comma, not. Ooh, there's this dangling parentheses. That kind of unnerves me. Okay. Okay, so that's that rule. Capitalize the first word of a quote because it's the beginning of a sentence inside the quote. All right. So when I say Billy sat down and said, hey, man, we capitalize hey because it's the beginning of that sentence inside the quote. And I just goofed that up. Unless there's always an exception, right? Unless it's a broken quote, like, I wonder, Steve, if we should go to the store, right? Now, what I did with Steve said, I interrupted this sentence. So if is not capitalized because it's the middle of the sentence. I wonder if we should go to the store. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of a technicality. Just nod your heads. All right. Then this one seems to goof people up, but you look at any novel, if there's a bunch of dialogue on a page, there's all kinds of paragraphs because you change paragraphs when your speaker changes. Okay. Paragraph. Hi, Barney said as he saw the blah, blah, blah. New paragraph. Hi yourself, you big dope. New paragraph. What's going on tonight? Barney continued to prod. Okay. So that is a steadfast rule that you have to change paragraphs. And it's to keep the reader not confused as to who's talking. That's why you spread it out. Now, what you're going to do is an assignment, and we did this in class. Is an in-class thing. You're going to create a short scene between two characters, okay? Or it could be you and your brother or whatever, right? And you're going to add action and description. Right? You're going to add action and description. And it's going to wind up looking like this, okay? And here it comes, drum roll. Yeah, this is not an error-free zone. Dialogue example, that's what it is. So this is what your assignment should look like. This is just kind of an in-class practice, even though you're not in class, you're at home. Here it comes. You need 10 lines of dialogue. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one, they overachieved. This was like 12. All right, and then you're going to add action and description. But the scene is just this conversation that you have between two people, okay? The men approach the top of the rocky cliff. How much farther is it? Asked Kevin as he noticed the setting sun. Okay, you add some action description. You're practicing dialogue punctuation. Here's a question mark. Bert snuck onto the map and replied, comma, quotation mark, sentence, period, quotation mark. Okay. And here they have a little, I know, there it is, Kevin gasped, period. Hollywood, period. Okay. I told you, exclamation. Okay, so you practice as the exclamation point. Here we practice the broken quote. Okay, so practice all of these rules on the other sheet. Okay, and then you get to 10. So you're just creating this little scene. I know I'm kind of going crazy here. Between two characters that practices all of these dialogue rules. Make sense? Okay, so stop the video and take a deep breath because it's okay. So far you've gotten the Monday stuff, you've gotten the Tuesday stuff. We'll have a special thing on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, you're going to be writing an action description paper, all right, where you're going to be practicing what we've been talking about so far, whether it's, well, I'll just show you what it is, okay? Here it comes. Action description. Oh my gosh, Isaac's already done. Write a 250 to 300 word essay. It's not that much, it's like 3/4 of a page, right? That describes someone performing a certain action. Okay. Could be reeling in a fish, could be skiing downhill, could be racing in a car, try not to be late to first hour, running from your car to first hour. It could be maybe you're making cookies in the kitchen, and make it a simple action. But in that, we're describing that action. Okay. Here's what you have to consider, right? Things we've been talking about: show, don't just tell. Use specific word choice. Red oak, not tree. Appeal to senses. We didn't talk about this much, but you can work in a couple similes, some fresh, new images, like he grabbed the handle like he was gasping for his last breath. Kind of dramatic, but it's a simile, right? And then when we talked about yesterday, or on this really long video, ing phrases and absolute phrases. Okay, so that you will work on Thursday and Friday to complete for Monday. Wow, this was a long video, but dang, wasn't it good? And just so you know, back to, I have everything that you have to do kind of drawn out in the email that will accompany this video. All right, have a great couple days doing these great assignments. All right, have a good day.